So people of God, God had me hand out some more plates today. And I went to the gas station. God told me to save the last piece of chicken I had because I was going to give it to my children, but he told me to save it. And he had me save it. So I passed out one of the plates to my neighbors in my building, and then I walked to the gas station. And there was two young men standing outside of the gas station, people of God. And those two young men, people of God, it was something about them. Before I even walked in, God had already told me to ask them if they needed anything. So, but I didn't ask when we went in. On my way out, I asked. I said, I didn't ask. One of the young men came up to me. He said, "Could you spare some change?" I said, "Well, I don't have any change on me." I said, "Well, do you wanna come inside and pick something out and get something for yourself? Get something?" He said, "Yeah." Then I asked his friend. I said, "Do you want something? Do you need anything?" He said, "Yeah." So I told him, I said, they both can have $10 and get it. One of the young boys, he got one thing, and the other young boy, he got a bunch of stuff. I don't even know how much I spent. I know I spent more than $10, but at the end of the rate, I didn't care. But he started talking to me. He was like, I be hungry, and I really be hungry. And I said, well, I was just passing out plates yesterday, and I got one more plate left. And I said, do you want it? Do you want me to give it to you? He said, yeah, because I be eating anything. I eat off the ground. Anything. That's just how it is. And I said, well, okay, it's fine. It's okay. So I told him, give me 2 minutes. Give me about 2 to 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. So he waited for me, people of God. So I came back, and as I come back, people of God, I started talking to him. I gave him the plate. He says, please, do you have any money, a couple of dollars? He's like, I'm sorry, but I'm going through withdrawals. And he said, I'm sorry, but I'm going through withdrawals. Do you have anything? So God told me to give him the last couple of dollars in my wallet, and I did. I handed it to him, and I told him, I said, it's okay, because I've been there. He said, what drug was it? I said, well, for me, it was pills and marijuana. And he said, well, I started with coke, but he didn't want to talk around my children, so I had my children, I had them walk off. I said, y'all go away, y'all go play. Go play in the grass for a second. I had them walk off. He said, because he didn't want to talk in front of the kids, but people of God, this is the part where I'm trying not to cry, because I'm trying to keep it together and tell y'all this testimony and this story. But as I'm up there, people of God, I'm talking to him. He's telling me about it. He said, yes. He said, at first it was cocaine, and it was I learned it. He said, I got addicted to it from messing with a prostitute. He said, because I got kicked out of my house when I was 18 years old. I'm only 22. I said, you only 22? Like, people of God, I'm trying to hold my tears back. He's only 22, people of God. And I said, I understand. I said, I get the withdrawals. I said, those pills and the marijuana had me low. See, because this is a part of my testimony that I've never told anyone, but I can expose it to you all because God has given me a heart for people who have addiction, because I know what it's like to do things outside of your character. He said, sometimes this withdrawal, the addiction, he said, I can't eat when I'm going through withdrawals, and you can't. And he's right. I know what that means. I know what it felt like. I said, I know. And I'm talking to him, and he's only 22 years old, but yet his name is Michael. And I said, oh my God. He said, my name comes from the Bible. God's people, his babies. People of God, God's babies. These are his babies. Michael's only 22. So I gave him my number. I said, call me. He said, I don't have a phone. I said, well, call me, Michael. I said, make sure you call me. I'm going to write it down for you. The guy from the gas station, he trusts me. He didn't trust him. So I went in and I got a pen and I got a piece of paper and I wrote my number down. And it's crazy because God told me to start carrying my gospel pamphlets with a pen so I could write my number on them. But I haven't did it. But I should have did it today. But at the end of the day, at any rate, forget that. I still was able to give him my number. He said, what's your name? I said, my name's Vic. And I asked the other young man what's his name. He told me his name was Christopher. And then Michael, he was like, that's my middle name. It's crazy how we hang out and he has my middle name. And I'm like, wow. And I'm just hearing him. I said, but I tell him, I say, Michael, because God didn't tell me to go in depth with praying for him and all that. There's sometimes where I pray right then and there with some of the people that God has me approach or deal with. And there are times where he literally just has me listen. And I listened to him, and I heard his heart and his soul crying out from the addiction. People of God, y'all got to be more gentle to people who go through addiction, because some of y'all don't understand what it means to not be able to control your flesh. Like, marijuana and pills had me digging in dumpsters. Like, I don't dig in dumpsters for stuff like that. Like, no, that was way outside of my character. And just like Michael, his addiction has him eating off the floor food that don't even make sense. Like, he knows it don't make sense. He was like, I don't like this. He literally's talking to me. He said, I don't like this. He said, I don't like how this feels. He said, I don't even want to be here. I just want to die. And as soon as he said that, he looked at the kids and he was like, I don't want to say that around them. But people of God, this is why it takes, it's time for us to come out of these churches. It's time for us to start helping God's babies, because God's babies are out here dying. They're getting addicted to drugs, alcohol. They're dying. He's 22 years old. And because he got kicked out of his house at 18, a child who did not ask to be here. People of God, it's time to get it together. And I'm trying to get this message as cool as I can, but I can't, because I'm getting, like, my tears are from from hurt and pain from Michael. And then not just that, it's anger as well, because there's so many of y'all that don't understand why God is so upset. This is why God is so upset. His babies are dying, and too many of you people are looking at these children as if they're the problem when they're not. Michael got addicted to drugs because his parents did not do what they were supposed to do. They did not train him up in the way that he should go. Yet he knows his name is Michael. He knows it's from the Bible. That ought to tell you that there's some God in him. And he was allowed to talk to me because the God in him been crying for him for help. He's crying for help. These babies are crying for help, people of God. And y'all just keep walking past them. Y'all judging them. Y'all want to talk bad about them like God's babies are dying. These are his babies. And y'all are being a part of Satan's agenda. Y'all are pushing Satan's agenda to kill off the next offsprings in the next generation. People of God, it's not okay. Like, this baby got me crying like Viola Davis because I didn't want to even leave him up there. Like, I wanted to bring him home with me, but God wouldn't let me because God knows my heart. God's got to do something. He's doing something for him because I don't always know the full story. I only know what God tells me. And God told me that he was special. His heart was beautiful. And then this was one of the things that stuck with me that he said. And this is why I tell y'all not to judge God's people. He said, I may be going through this. He said, I'm sorry. He apologized to me. He said, I'm normally not like this. He said, but I can honestly say, even with what I do, he said, I'm good. I'm better than most people. He said, I'm good to people. I am. Your hearts are beautiful. His heart was beautiful. And for him to be 22 and on the streets, and for there to be 12 churches on the same block that I live on. And I'm over exaggerating, maybe not 12, but 5. That's a lot of churches. For a 22-year-old young boy to be out here and no child of God ever walked past him and said, Jesus loves you, or it's okay. Let me help you. Let me pray for you. Let me pray for you to fight your flesh. See, when it comes to addiction, y'all don't understand, that is one powerful demon that you need God and God to fight alone. Because addiction will bring you to a low place. A low place to where you don't even recognize who you are anymore. Michael told me he wanted to die. And I said, Michael, don't say that. I said, God's got a plan for you. He's telling me he's going to do some great things in you and through you. He just needs you to fight it. And he looked at me. He flipped his hair back. And he looked at me and I said, it's okay. But most of you people that's in the church, y'all looked at Michael, prayed all kind of crazy prayers. These people need love. And I just know one thing. God's going to do something great with that young man. Because he told me so. But people of God, this is a warning. You parents, you adults, better start raising these children better. Better start doing better with these children and these babies. Because God is angry. Especially for those of you in these churches and the babies ain't in there. Ain't no youth in these churches. God is getting upset. They don't know him. His babies are hurting and they're dying. Get it together, people of God.